Thank you for your presentations, not just this one, but presentations this weekend.
Thank you, Lauren. I'm feeling much better. I was getting over a little cold non-COVID sickness when I made that presentation. So I'm feeling much more chipper. So it's funny watching yourself do those, give those recordings. So happy to be here with you all. And I've seen some great questions in the chat and happy to answer those.
Great. Well, let's start off with just a clarification of what does changes in water worn on practitioner mean?
So that was, I obviously did not cover that initial study well at all. I've done a number of presentations about that, and we have 5 publications about that first study. And I put in the chat the web link to that manuscript on ResearchGate, and you can get all into the methods and details of that. But just very briefly, in the original study, we had a vial of water that was on the practitioner and on the participant. And we measured something called evanescence, which with my non-tech background, I understand it as the length of the water bond and the angle. So the length and the angle actually changed during those sessions compared to control water.
Thank you. Another clarification is, so the intention is a node common factor to all these effects?
Great question. So yes, I think they may be asking about the previous study, and there were 17 different energy medicine practitioners from a wide range of modalities. And yes, the positive healing intention was a common theme to all of those, regardless of what they called the modality. And what's fascinating about that first pilot study is we did not see any differences across the practitioners. And, what I'm curious about is, are they really doing different things, and what are the nuances to how these various practitioners are doing what they do? So there's a lot more research we can do in regards to that.
And does Qi in Japanese refer to the same entity as Qi in the Chinese medical system?
I believe so. I believe it does. It's that, life force, vitality.
It's interesting. We keep using this term energy, and I'm wondering, for those that really are scientists and understand the term on a deep level, if we'll eventually change it, because energy dissipates with distance, and it seems like this type of healing is not affected by distance. So for those scientists, it already makes it hard for them to grasp it because energy doesn't work that way. So I've heard people call it information healing versus energy healing.
Yes, my understanding is there is more evidence that is growing that it is more informational rather than energy in the strict physical sense. And I have conversations with Dean Radin, our chief scientist, about this all the time, because another piece in, all my channeling and mediumship studies, etc., everyone talks about frequency and they're feeling the frequency. And I talked to Dean, well, let's measure this frequency. And he's like, well, it's not the same frequency. It feels like frequency to them, but it's not the same as in the physics.
And any indication by the Seers that the energy of the RM increases, as does the participant also during the session. So not RM energy going to participant, but increase in energy of both.
I would say yes to that is the short, simple answer. In Reiki, the understanding is that it's not the Reiki master who's actually doing the work. So it's not their personal energy that's going into the Healy, if you will, but that they are channeling, if you will, this universal Qi energy that supports the participant in reaching a greater homeostasis. And so is the Reiki master receiving the benefits of that flow as well? Yes, absolutely. And that was, recorded multiple times in various ways.
There's just a comment while we collect another question here. One of the comments was, where was it from John? would love to duplicate this method with amputees in a special protocol to observe if phantom limbs can be seen by clairvoyance. Has that been done, by the way, or is that a cool idea that we just heard?
That is a great idea. My understanding is it has not been done, but we have had a number of people approach IONS about doing that. And it's always just about funding and bandwidth. So we have not done that yet.
Okay. And it seems like pumping of the information energy to the perceiver to stimulate a modulative change. Is this understanding mostly correct?
Again, we don't really understand the mechanism. So I think that is a fine way to think about it. And we have yet to confirm that that's actually what's going on.
And John's added, because of this research, you can see he's so inspired about the amputees, and he goes and then observing acupuncture treatments to see what we notice about the biofields in an acupuncture treatment. So lots of great things can come from this study.
Yeah, we're also collaborating with a number of groups to visualize the biofield. That's with the Consciousness Healing Initiative and Energy Funders Collective. We built this QNG array. That's kind of our part of the project. And we've often thought of you doing those experiments with amputees to be able to see, can you actually visualize a biofield of a regular arm and then an arm that is physically not there? And, you know, many amputees talk about being able to feel it. And so I wouldn't be surprised if you actually could still see a biofield of that missing physical limb.
And then our last question, and then we'll have more extended discussions, by the way, in the energy room after. But the last question here would be from Roger, and it's a two-parter. One is, what about the healing research of Douglas and Stefan? And then the other about using RM to treat discomfort of phantom limbs.
I believe we were inspired with the evanescence from those papers, but I don't know. I don't believe we've done a formal comparison with them. And yes, Reiki, I feel, could be used for any issue. And this study supported that. You know, Reiki practitioners believe that it's for anyone, for any situation. And so why not? There's growing evidence for its positive benefits, and we need to just keep continuing those studies so we can confirm it again and again.
Thank you for your presentation, and thank you for participating in the Q&A.